Friends, I'm going to update you a little bit on the research venture that I went on in extreme southern Iowa. And I touched on it a little bit on my last video. And I've been holding back some things that are very exciting. And the reason I was holding them back is because I didn't just want to, throw information out there and it just be false, because I wanted to make sure that I was actually on to something before I said anything. And I'm, as you know, I'm not one of those people that, just because I see a snap branch or, a strange print in the dust or, something strange in the air, that, it's automatically a cryptid's been in the area or something like that. So, I want to be sure of myself. Because I want people to really believe that I'm trying to educate myself and help educate others and maybe help find find out what's really out there. So I'll try to be as brief as possible, but I want to get as much detail in as possible. So please bear with me. Again, I was called down to extreme southern Iowa. Two individuals. Um, the gentleman's son-in-law, I believe it was the one that actually had the encounter, we'll say. And this was on a plot of their property they normally don't go to. It's really, really dense with vegetation and trees. And he just had happened to be driving by on that stretch of road. And he looked down the lane, and it was getting dark at that particular time. It wasn't fully dark, but it was getting dark. Headlights were, he just had turned his headlights on, and he thought he seen something, a large mass standing uh, in an opening, down on this particular part of the property, right before it goes into this real thick vegetation. Um, Put the vehicle in reverse, backed up, and then pulled down in this entrance area that goes down into some pretty, like I said, heavy vegetation. I was lucky I got my RV and stuff down there, to be quite honest. It's pretty narrow and not much room to turn around, so I was lucky to have been able to maneuver down in there. But at any rate, um, as he pulled down in, he in fact did see something standing there. Because of the direction that he was in with his headlights on, though, he couldn't fully see what the object was. He looked to his right, which would have been the passenger side, and there, what he thought he saw, or he claims to have seen, um, was a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it, or he thinks. Okay, um, so much so that he drew his 45. He came out from around and in front of the truck, and all he could fire at was this black mass. He couldn't really see it because it was in the vegetation, but he knew it was there somewhere close, okay? So he fired two or three rounds, all right? Um, Heard the thing run off. He didn't know if he hit it or not. He was scared to death, backed out, got the hell out, and then went and told a family member about this. Then, of course, it ended up, in my lap, so to speak. So when I had got there, excuse me, I'd done a little bit of investigating and asked questions about, how far, away he was when he actually fired at this thing and in what direction. Which I'm glad I did ask that because it produced some things, and I'll tell you here in a second. He said he was approximately, 35 feet or so, maybe a little farther, but he just, at that particular time, he really, didn't, think about, measurement, obviously. And he fired in about 35 feet or so into this mass, which there were some trees behind it. So I got to thinking, okay, well, he's probably missed. Okay, maybe didn't, but he probably missed. And if he did miss, um, those trees, hopefully, would maybe have caught a projectile or two. First thing I did was I looked on the ground, and it's pretty prairie grass, so to speak, and I knew looking for casings would probably be fruitless, and I didn't. I didn't find any casings to see maybe exactly where he was standing when he fired. But, and I have pictures of this, and I'll put them up. That's another thing, real quick. I wish I want to stay low tech as possible, but I wish I knew how to put multiple thumbnails up on my videos, because I have a lot I want to show you people. But anyway, I found two entry wounds in the trees in the direction he was shooting. Okay, and I took pictures of him, and I'm pointing at him with a stick. And you'll notice the angle of where these projectiles, and I dug one of them out, and I have one. It's definitely a 45 round. Okay, the angle tells me whatever he shot at was huge, or, which I know he didn't, he was on his knees or laying on his back and firing at an upward angle. Okay, because from the base of the tree to where these projectiles are that I found were approximately 7 feet. Okay, well, if he's shooting at the mass, okay, which the mass we know would be the upper torso, okay, was that he was firing at that, in the dark. Could you imagine the size of this thing? All right. So, I mean, you can do the math. I don't know. 8 foot, 10 foot, who knows? But if he was firing at just the mass, and it was at that angle, that high in the tree where the projectile, this thing was huge. Okay. So anyway, I got that evidence, and here's the real exciting evidence that I'm gonna share with you on a thumbnail today, and I'm gonna put a warning out there to people, because I know my listeners aren't snowflakes, but just in case somebody happens across the video and they go, "Oh my God, he's got a picture of Scat on it," which it is. That's what it is. I don't want people to freak out, so I'm gonna put a warning, I guess, that there's gonna be some kind of something visually that might not be pleasing to some people. Okay, but I found some scat, and I have no idea what this come from. I have never ever seen this. Excuse me, dang, this type of scat before ever in my life. I sent some pictures to Barton Nunley, and he ran it across to one of his friends that's definitely diverse in nature and all of its animals. And he come back, said it could be feral pig, but they weren't sure, and I checked on it. And I'm not saying it's none of these things that have been suggested by other people. I just don't know. But from what I've visually seen, looking things up, it just, I don't think it's feral pig. Um, it's just something I have never seen before in my life. I ran the pictures through a couple of friends of mine that are within the Iowa Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. They've never seen anything like it before. I showed a war criminal some pictures of it. He's never really seen anything like this before. I thought maybe initially it was beaver. And this is why I'm saying the water thing. Remember to keep that in the back of your mind. There was no viable source of water probably within a 20-mile radius. So in other words, there was no major rivers, ponds, small contributaries, anything like that. There might have been a small drainage ditch somewhere, but nothing that would have been able to produce what was in this scat. And that's what I'm getting at. This had me so excited and wondering, because I really think I got something cryptid here, people. I really do. I called Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa. I got a hold of the Animal Science Department. I didn't think I was going to have any success with these people, and I tell you what, they were overly happy to assist me in this. They drove down to my residence, and I drove them down to where where I was, the site of where the scat was found. And as they were bagging it up in the bags for for samples, I said, I think I seen shards of maybe bone shards of maybe rodent, mouse, something like that, and hair. Could have been rabbit, squirrel, whatever, that this thing ate. He broke one of them open, and he said, "Well, I can tell you, it's not rodent. It's fish bone." And number two, the hair or fur, whatever you want to call it, doesn't look like to be from rabbit, squirrel, rodent, anything like that. It could actually be from the the depositor, we'll say, of the scat, which also had me excited. I mean, that's DNA right there, right? So I'm just really hoping that whatever they find, they will be truthful about it. And if it is something cryptid, I mean, this could be it. I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up or anything like that, and I might be just way off base with all this. But I tell you, people, I don't think this scat is from anything that we know. So they're going to get back to me on that. And again, you'll see the pictures, and if you recognize the scat, I mean, tell me. I mean, then it'll be case closed. I'm not going to just say, well, because I found it, it's strange to me. It couldn't be what you think it is. So you let me know. It's really promising, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm excited about this scat. Okay, and I'll do anything it takes to learn, to educate myself, and help with other people in this field. So I smelled it. I did, and it was extremely pungent. And it's like, yeah, well, what's scat supposed to smell like? Well, you're right. I guess I've worked around wild or animals, livestock my whole life, so I've smelled some pretty bad stuff. But this was nasty. It was a combination of like propane and rotten eggs. It was absolutely horrible. So when I get results back, and I tell you what, I better, because I'm going to be on these people like flies on shit, no pun intended. Uh, there's going to be answers. I really think there is. And that there's this audio I told you guys about that I had to find the right one because I took so many just real quick, because whenever I went to reach for my phone, everything stopped. And that happened like 4 or 5 times, just nonstop. And it's like, okay, well, I don't believe in coincidence, so whatever's out there knows that I'm trying to record it. So this recording that I'll eventually upload for you actually came from inside the camper. And I tell you what, people, it's there again, super exciting, and it didn't unnerve me or anything like that. But it was fun. I was happy this was happening, because I think, and you'll know that I'm more of a debunker. I'd rather debunk something than just automatically say it was something out of this world, or something we don't know, or something cryptid. But I think wholeheartedly that this is something cryptid, people. I really do. And I'm going to get to some other things. I want to tell all the new subscribers that are still floating in, thank you very much. Don't need to subscribe, don't need to like or anything like that. But I'm just happy that you're on board. Stop by and listen every once in a while, and make a comment if you want. But again, thank you so much for at least stopping by and listening to me. And it's hard to get out to people that don't know I exist. And there's a lot of them that heard my interview originally from the Cryptid Studies Institute channel that don't even know I exist. And we went through this before, and a lot of you have got the word out, and people have come to me, and I appreciate you for getting the word out. But anybody that I try to get over as often as possible, as you know, and answer questions on their channel. But I've noticed, and there's a lot of derogatory comments towards them and towards me about our faith and not believing me and stuff. That's fine. those people can say whatever they want about me. Come on my channel and rip me a new asshole. That's fine. I'll deal with it. But please don't do it on Elijah and Gabby's channel. Okay, they don't need it. They were just there interviewing me. Okay, so that's it. You don't need to talk to them or leave those type of comments on their channel. Again, if you see something there, people, just say, hey, you got something to say, go to Roger's channel, chew his ass on his channel. I'm not here. Have some respect for him. So I would greatly appreciate that. But that's it, people. I'm going to try to get back down there again to this spot where I had all this activity and found this scat. And I don't know if it'll be this weekend because we're supposed to actually finally have some pretty heavy rain down that area. And if it does, there is no way I'll get the RV down and back out of there. So that's it. I love y'all. And as always, God bless, Godspeed, and I'll talk to you later.